Okay, so you go to take a lug nut off on your vehicle, and this is what happens. Here's my gun. It don't want to break free. And that's a strong gun, and it's fully charged. What do? Put a breaker bar on it. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you could snap the hexagon portion off the lug nut and still leave the acorn portion down stuck to the rim. The problem isn't the lug nut is seized to the stud. The problem is the lug nut is seized to the rim. Let me show you something. Now here is a regular old lug nut. Oops, I had to go that way. Here's a regular old lug nut. This portion here, this bevel, this acorn portion, this is what seizes to the rim. I've seen this happen. See this? That's the acorn portion of a lug nut. Like that? I saved this. I didn't do this. I saved this. Guy I was working with, he had a Jeep Liberty, I believe it was, and he snapped the hexagon portion off of the lug nut. So this acorn portion stayed attached. This piece unthreaded. And as you can see, and it's a pretty rancid lug nut, but as you can see, the threads come all the way down. See that? So now what do? Well, I told him, you better get a drill and drill that thing out, 1/2-inch drill. He didn't like that idea. He was going to get it off with an air hammer. And as you see, he beat the snot out of that thing with an air hammer. He wound up destroying his own rim. And he still couldn't get it off. So after 2 hours, yes, 2 hours. After 2 hours, I went over there with a 1/2-inch drill, and you could see, I wasn't perfectly centered, but I was close enough. I drilled that thing all the way down, and then I hit the rim on the inside with either a hammer or a pry bar or whatever, and it snapped it off. It was enough leverage to snap it off. So then he had to replace the lug and the stud. He could have saved the rim had he listened to me, but he decided he wanted to do it his own way. So now, what do I do with this? I can't get the wheel off. I can't get the lug off. And I got more than one that's like that. So, what do? Well, I'm going to show you. So now the way I do it, take the tool off of there. Get a trusty dead blow hammer like this one. It's a very good hammer. It's a dead blow, so it doesn't shock back when you hit it. And you strike the socket inward. Because you want to try to jar that thing free. Because like I said, the lug nut is seized to the rim. It's not seized to the stud. And there it comes off. I would have sat there and fought this thing all day. But that's how it comes off. So now, I just need to, see? Actually, the chrome came off of that. So, which I don't care about that. But there, you could see, the threads are all fine. There's no rust in there. It's not rotted to the stud. It's just, like I said, it gets seized onto the rim. So now when you take these things off and you actually get them off, wire wheel these things, clean them up. And I hate to say it, either put some anti-seize, not on the threads, but on the outside here, anti-seize or some kind of a grease or something. You may want to try to clean the inside of the rim too, just to get that, debris or whatever it is cleaned up. Because what happens is the rim actually gets galled on the inside. Let me take this off my pod here. It's very difficult to see, but it gets galled up slightly on the inside, and that's what it seizes up on. So that's it. I'm going to wind up having to do, well, I already had to do 5 in the front, 3 on one side, 2 on the other. And so far that was the second lug that I hit in the back, and it was the first one came right off, the second one was locked in place. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to clean them all up. I'm gonna have to replace a couple of them because I destroyed in the front. I destroyed 3 of the 5 that were seized in place because they got so stuck in the socket that I wound up having to just beat the daylights out of them out of the socket, from one side. And since these have that aluminum cover or tin cover, I wound up destroying it and get the punch in there and whatever. But what you can do too, and I was kind of an idiot at first, that's why I destroyed 3 of them. If you take the lug, this lug here, and you find a bolt that you could thread into it, and that's what I did on the last 2. You thread the bolt in all the way till it bottoms out on the cap inside the socket. Now, when you have the socket and you have the lug stuck on the inside, let me show you real quick. You have the lug stuck on the inside like that, but since you have a bolt going through it and it's bottomed out on the cap, you take a punch and you go through on this end, and you wind up, knocking it through. Excuse me. You're not going to destroy the cap. So, but like this one, I'm going to replace anyway because it already lost a cap, so not a big deal. And if I can't find a lug nut, just stick it on like that. It needs an 18 then at that point. So that's it. Hope you guys get something out of my videos. If you do, hit the like button. If you could, please subscribe. It'll help my channel out. It'll help me make more videos and better content too. That's about it for today. Hope you guys have a great day. Keep wrenching.